here on turn 5, the recordings are not correct as to, well, they don't match the ones in the rolls, and the ones in the rolls make more sense, so I'm following those. However, run into a problem. It's not an insoluble one, but I got 70 12-pounder ammo here, and it doesn't matter which, this one causes the same problem. It just causes other problems as well. I'm getting 100 more 12-pounder ammo points. Well, I've only got, I got points for a 10s column and a 1s column, and then there's the 100 to 200 entry for, I guess I just put another marker there or something to indicate that. Boy, is that obnoxious. There's no reverse side on these suckers. Well, maybe there is on one of them. But yeah, this is not thinking correctly, you know. I mean, if they don't go above 200, a plus 100 side would have handled the whole issue. That does not. Okay. Operational map for this scenario, for this turn, I don't have anything I really need to do on it. I have these extra guns coming in. I'm just going to deploy them. And honestly, I am not going to deploy them limbered here. Yes, they can't shoot, but I can't tell what the fuck's going on if they're limbered. They look too much like other things. 24s. Siege guns. Some more 12s. Do I really need more than one 12-pounder and one 24-pounder? I don't know. I mean, that's pretty questionable, to tell you the truth. If I have a gun in a certain, you know, I probably want to fire a gun from a single location of a single class many times. Though maybe with the 12-pounders picking off, you know, more artillery makes sense. But in terms of wall crushing, I think it's pretty unlikely you're going to be using artillery in multiple places. Chance we're going to get to fire our 12-pounders. They could have been fired earlier had I deployed, you know, had I had more digging in particular, but had I had them deployed at an earlier point, they got not on the thing. This is the French fire phase. I've got one mortar deployed, so that gets to fire. On a 6, nothing happens. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to look for, we lose another point of Prussian morale. I won't remember otherwise. Okay. Because it's invested. Now, that probably happens at the end of the turn, but I don't know. It doesn't really have a sequence of play location. Now I have the 12-pounders. I'm going to start picking off guns as best as I can, because only by reducing the guns can, you know, my entrenchments get close. I think this one was within 500 feet when I measured the attack, so that won't change things. So 500 feet is a -2. That brings this down to a 4. God, my poor throat, or my poor lungs. There's a wheeze going on in there. So that was, I said -2, but another -2 for the the fortifications. So I'm on the 2 table, which means a 5 or a 6 will hit it. And I'm just going to start grabbing dice and rolling them. 1, 2, okay. So I fired 2 artillery off. And I guess that's this. And this gun is dropped. And this is the little game we're going to be playing. Okay? I'm going to be rolling dice and getting rid of guns. Now the problem is, I don't get that many, you know, I don't get ammunition that many times. I I don't see any more on this chart. Don't know if we can trust that chart. And here's the thing, I don't want to write over that chart, right? Because it's not clear that I'm doing the right thing. Maybe it's neither of these. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, there should be more ammo on turn 5. Turn 7. I think that's it. So, you know, it's quite possible I will not have ammo eventually. I seem to remember, but I may be mistaken, that there was a limit to how many times you could fire. But that may be Sevastopol and not Lille or something like that, because this, I don't know, this doesn't really feel like, I don't know, whatever. Lucky shooting this one. On this one, now it's on 6s only, so it's harder, and I fired 8 more rounds at it, and I think everything else is going to be 6s only, or I can't shoot at it. And that puts me in kind of a problematic situation, because, see, I need to knock some of these guns out to reduce the damage to the infantry that are going to need to dig to get me closer to the wall, to get the bigger guns in place that can blow the hole in the wall, etc., etc., etc. But I don't have a lot of troops. I mean, I think I wasn't able to dig 10 points last time. But on the other hand, I don't have an unlimited supply of this stuff. At what point do the 12-pounders stop being important? That's really the big question, and I think I want to do as much as I possibly can. So I'll probably run out of ammo within a turn or two for them. I don't know. I mean, you know, obviously I have to be within 750 for them to hit, I think. No, not even, right? -3, -4, -5. Yeah, 750 is the maximum range that those guns have. Checked in after the 8 shots, and now I did one that did 7, but we've hit quite a few, and not at terrible numbers. I'm still at 148 rounds, which, you know, so I've used only 22 and knocked out 4 of the guns. So I'm doing pretty damn well there. I'm averaging around 5 shots per, but one of them was a little closer, so okay. Anyway, I'm doing okay. But was sort of the sanity check. Hey, is this sensible? You know, am I rolling on reasonable odds here? Not, you know, or should I be withholding this fire until I get closer? That was part of it. I had some other fucking reason for coming up and talking beyond saying that. I don't remember what. 9 construction points this time. Another gun gallery up here, close enough to start putting the 24-pounders up there and trying to batter the walls. Of course, it's going to be really hard to stay in this area. That's why all these guns were shot, but there's plenty of guns still left. You don't think that I'm going to be able to hold that position. Basically, you have to make multiple threats on the wall, which is why the parallel set of constructions is coming up. And I have them connected because connectivity is a good thing. Supposedly. It's really, it's like you get to repair everything before you have to move, so I don't really understand that, but whatever. Now, before we get shot, I get to place my ship, and then we go to the Prussians. I get out unscathed, but the gun gallery got damaged, the gun pushed back. Now the question is, do the Prussians want to perform a See, I put my 6-pound guns here. I wish I had a 12-pounder, not 6-pound guns, but I put my field artillery here. Wish I had 12-pound siege artillery up there, knowing what's going on. I don't think we want to launch a sortie because those field artillery are there. And because no wall smashing is happening next turn. I know that there's no 24-pounders out there. So the French are going to be in essentially the same place they're in this turn. But they're going to be pulling another parallel up, and it's going to start getting hairier on the Prussians to be able to knock everything out. You can see we were at 170. We used maybe 40 rounds to knock out the nearby guns. That's gonna the reason I wanted to put a 12-pounder here was the better range at knocking out the guns. But for whatever reason, I decided it was more important to have the field artillery there to prevent a sortie, even though there really aren't that many Prussian troops to risk on one. Prepare. Get these guys back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that gets charged against my Prussian gun replacements, which is another interesting factor. That's not a huge number either. It could come to the point where less and less guns are present. Now, I've got guns that are useless, these guys, but I can't do anything with them ever. But some of these guys out here, they really can't hit worth a damn, and I mean, I don't know if they can at all. Yeah, they're in range, because that 750 takes me here, and as long as I can get within 1,000 feet, I can shoot. I don't have to worry, though, about this getting an enfilade shot. It's too far away for that. Because otherwise it would have one, and these guys too. So I think we're done with everything except the rally. Counterattack, what's counterattack? Oh, if I'm on the wall. I keep asking myself that. Okay, let me see. I feel like I feel like one was missed here. Turn 3 was when, but that might be okay because I might have been misinterpreting it. Turn 3 was, I think, when we had the first, no, maybe it was turn 4. Yeah, okay. The first investment is what I'm talking about. So this is a weird situation. We get the roll for Bennigsen. Now this is going to happen basically all through these turns. On the roll of a 12, and I guess you get one shot at one success, although it doesn't, yeah, this can only happen one per turn. Bennigsen moves his army. That gives Danzig 2 extra morale. Now, essentially, that if morale is, and it looks like it is the thing that's going to be the hard part to beat back here. I mean, I'm looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 turns. That's 10 morale. Okay, that gets me down to a 3. Possible city fires, another random factor. Another -4 for, getting the first and second ranks of the wall down and getting troops into them. All right, so we're looking at like turn 14, which would be a minor Prussian victory already. Throw some fires in, maybe we get a few, but this 2 points could well be the determination of whether or not you win. And I don't think there's a lot you can do to react to that. This is just sort of a, hey, how many bonus points, how much bonus time do the Prussians get? I'm okay with things like that, but I could see some people being really unhappy with, what is it? It's 1 in 36, done 1, 2, 3, 4 chances at 1 in 36. And I could figure out the probabilities on that, but it's going to be less than 4 in 36, right? So basically, you're looking at, a 10% chance that the Prussians just get this bonus lease on life. And it's a pretty major one. And yeah, and it's sort of similar, although a little less disturbing, with the Corvette, which also add 2 to the morale of Danzig, or subtract 2. So this is a 4-point swing, as long as, and it comes right after the Russians come, but Lan might be there as well, as long as you're on the Vistula, which I am, it's only a 1 in 6 chance. But that's of a 4-point swing. And there's 2 extra points that could go for the French as well. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at turn 13, 12 or 13 is our target turns, if we can't get it by then. I think we're going to be able to make it through to the walls and capture wall positions. If we don't for that, if we fail at that, that's because of lack of manpower. The cannons being able to knock out our positions and our men. You might just roll a 12 on your mortar fire and drop morale by 2, and that's 1 more that I haven't done for the investment that I want to remember. And now it's time to start plinking those guns up there, but I also do not have my 24-pounder up. So all I have is my 12-pounder, and they're further back than I want them, but that's life. And remembering late is to roll this. The last couple turns, the Prussians have indeed had a defection in both cases. And then we also had, we wiped out wiped out the guns we could reach again, and we're at 102 shells left. And we're going to start to be able to get closer. So this is another 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another 6. Yeah, I may have cheated myself a little closer to one of these guns. I don't know. Sometimes the measurement is hard to make on this. It really should be to the dot, but where the dot is and the center of the French piece might move around as these things kind of swerve because they get bumped or whatever. Same kind of problem you have with a minis game. When you have free-form measurements, they don't always turn out the same. Hey, how come you were able to shoot me and I can't shoot you? Yeah, I've definitely been in that position. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, why didn't you take your shot? Well, because I was here and you walked by that position several times. I measured it and it wasn't there, and now it is somehow. What? Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Anyhow, I guess we're on to building the French fortifications. And again, we can't make it in here until I can start blasting some holes in the wall. Now the French trenches are getting more complex. First of all, we still got the mortars back here. We've dug, from here we've dug a sap under the wall and starting the mining operation. That's one way to maybe get the wall demolished without having to use the heavy guns. Built another gun, did repairs. Built another gun thing coming out here. Put a 24-pounder there. Who the hell's in that gun thing? I think I should have a 24-pounder in each. Make sure he can't deny me either of those. Now, up here, I've got a 12-pounder, but I've also got some field artillery. The field artillery is there to help protect those trenches against a possible sortie. And remember, other than my field artilleries, nothing really gets destroyed. So the big siege guns, figure the field artillery is probably 12 pounders too, or has 12 pounders in it. So I'm a little iffy about that. But the field artillery carriages, whatever, aren't easily repairable somehow in the 5-day period, or I don't know what else could happen. I really don't know what else could be levied against them. But yeah. And looking across here, looks like it's time for the Prussians to prepare their side of the turn. And again, my guns are exceedingly limited. And here's the thing, with a 12-pounder getting closer, I got a lot of targets for very few guns. Suppressing this fire is really, really important in terms of preventing the Prussians from interfering with your entrenchments. But once, next turn's going to be worse because these 12-pounders are up closer and can hit more of the guns, more better at the guns. Likewise, and I mean, there might be guns I can't hit. Like, I'm guessing I might not be able to hit this one. That's going to be really close. Probably should find some string or something. I don't know if I have any. I mean, I know I have rope. I found some of that recently. But yeah. Managed to damage one of the gun galleries and knock one of the big 24-pounders out of the way. But that means, after repairing my guns, I need to do a sortie against this. So, for the sortie, I am going to stack, I guess. Let's send the Russians in. I'm only going to send against the one location, and they'll be coming against here. The first thing that happens is we get to check the fire from these guys, which looks like it's going to be about 250 meter, which is a -1. -2 more for night, right? -3, and these things have a firepower of 6, so I'll be shooting a 3 at this. That's a hit. I believe that means the Prussians may have to make the Russians may have to make a morale check. Let's just check. It doesn't say one way or another. At each unit performing the sortie, I'm saying that the 2 units stacked together count as 1 unit for this. Because they could be stacked on their advance if this was being done on a regular hex map. So we're fine with that. But I am going to say that they have to make a morale check to make it. And they do. Okay. So now I'm allowed to deploy. Let's find this. An additional step of French infantry. Let's look for something decent. I can pull it from here. So I've got these 2. Do I have better stuff? I don't think so. Okay, so I've got, oh, I should have sent grenadiers in. Oh, well. So I've got 4 combat capability, and they've got 2. That's going to put it at 1 to 2. And nope. So this is an undamaged field fortification. So we're actually at -1 net, +1 for attacking column, -2. So we're going to be 1 to 4. That's not going to work well at all. Doesn't make a difference. 1 to 2 is just as bad. A 2, we're now disordered. Flee back, I don't have to rally them. And this is what we have. The French are going to be in a position to fire that big 24-pounder, and that's what we didn't want to have happen. If I had sent the grenadiers in, this would have been a little better, perhaps. Oops. Because this chart was unreliable, right, or I judged it so, I was working off this one and ended up missing one turn Bennington roll. I made it up this turn, made 2 of them. He didn't do anything. But now this one's also unreliable, right? So turn 5 is when we got the first 24-pounder. There's no ammo here for 24-pounder. However, you're supposed to get 50 24-pounder ammo here. Now we're on turn 7, and here we get 80 12-pounder ammo, but here we get 100 12-pounder ammo. Reverse. Basically, the ammo is reversed between these two, is what it looks like happened. I don't know. Anyway, since I started over here, I'm going with this. So this is turn 7, so I'll get 80 more 12-pounder ammo, which I definitely need, because I no longer needed an extra counter there, and we need to be able to mark that up. Whatever. Yeah, but that's probably, I didn't think I was getting more 12-pounder ammo. That's probably enough to take me through and to kind of neutralize the guns for the rest of the game. Plus we got some additional artillery, including another mortar, which we can build us another gun gallery somewhere, either here, which is probably the easiest place, or if we need that for, say, to put more field artillery in, I could probably drop one off here somewhere. In fact, that probably makes more sense. And what else? This turn, the Prussians are allowed to do a countermining operation against the sap, against the, well, the mine. And then next turn, I'm allowed to blow it up. And it doesn't do that much, but, well, it does a die roll of damage, unless there's a table, which I don't think there is. I think it just does a die roll of damage when it blows. Okay, so that's going to put us to French fire. I think I'm fucking myself over. So we were within the 250. So that was -1, -2, -3 for the quality of the wall, which brought me to the 4 table. If I'm doing it right. Let me make sure again. I've fucked up several things. Like I fired the 12-pounder several times ahead of time when I shouldn't have, and I found first one mistake, and then I reversed that, and then I found another error and reversed that with the 12-pounders, and then I'm like, the second one being I shouldn't even be firing the 12-pounders until I get the 24s out. So the problem is I shouldn't be firing the 24s either, because at -3, I'm on the 4 table. I can't possibly get a wall hit. I thought I'd be able to get a wall hit at this point. You can't combine firepower. The only way that I can get a wall hit in is if I can get this guy out to 100 meters, which maybe I can put a gun gallery out here, but boy, that's going to be kind of ugly. This one doesn't get me to 100 meters of the dot. So if I don't get the mine, the particular length of the attacks that I've made may make it so that it's almost impossible for me to get an attack on this point in the gunfire where I want it. And if I can't keep these suppressed, I got a or if I, never mind. It's anywhere on the wall, I think. Anyway, no, it's any of the guns. If I can't keep these suppressed, I've got a problem where I've got to worry about the angle of my firepower, that I'm not exposing a parallel in a bad way. And in order to do that, I may have to tilt it a little bit this way, and then I've got the danger that I've got to make sure, build another one coming out a little off the corner here. I may, and then a sap forward and then a gun gallery, but I may also be exposing what's here to gunfire then, if I'm slanting it. So there's different problems. There's the possibility of enfilade fire from here or enfilade fire from here. And yeah, I've just been fucking up. So I'm going to reverse those heavy siege guns as well and take the guns back from them, because I just do not accept the kind of mistakes where, oh wait, I can't do anything just because I walked away and wasn't really thinking. That's the kind of thing that I'm really iffy about in opposed play. Like, I would kind of grumble a little bit if somebody asked me that, and I would be like really, really reluctant to ask to get that take back. But on the other hand, you know, it's first time playing this system, essentially. Or if it is exactly the same as one of the two from The Art of Siege, it's first time in, 8-10 years, because it's been that long since I did those vids. That was a series I really, really wanted to do the vids for. So yeah, well, go back to doing the 12s and picking off the guns, because I can't do a damn thing until either, and I thought I could. I thought I had enough firepower to get in there at this point. I'm just astounded that I don't. So I'm not in the 100 meters, which means I'm at 250, which means I'm at -3, which puts me on the 4 table, which cannot possibly generate a casualty, right? There's no pluses, nothing to help me. I got to get it to the 5 table. Fuck. Payback for all these mistakes. I've made 19 rolls to get a 5 or a 6 on these two. I've gotten each one. First one was 9, second one was 10 rolls. The fate does not smile kindly on me, saying, no, I shouldn't have done it this way. I shouldn't have done it that way. That's cool. And built things out to get closer to the wall here. And also extending out in this direction. I think that's the extent of the French capabilities. So now we go to the Prussians, who get to first fire, basically. I can't move a gun onto a damaged gun. So unless I leave holes in the wall, I'm not going to get fire capability, but also I'm allowed movement before fire. Which may be a little fucked up, to tell you the truth, but yeah, if I had a hole where there was no gun, I would be able to put a gun there. I could put a gun on the second section of the wall, and I think actually get an enfilade shot that way. And here I was thinking I could protect against enfilades, but I might be able to pick one up against something like this. Now I got to be careful, because you can't go over second wall for the shot, but some of these things, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a gun gallery there under there. What we'd be looking at, and this would be able to enfilade, but this will not. It's too far back. So this gun gallery is protected because of all those destroyed guns. If I had a hole there, it wouldn't be the case. But this one's kind of problematic, because that's my 24 pounders right up against the wall. About the only way you can get a hole in the wall in this game. Yeah. This one feels more problematic than, certainly than Sevastopol. I don't know, Lille had serious problems with being able to launch the attack. And likewise, here I'd be in range, but I don't get the enfilade shot. It's too far. It's not far enough forward. But what about a dot from like here? Ooh. Looks like that misses it too. Yeah, I don't think I have an enfilade shot on that one, except from up here now. Somebody like this couldn't do it because that crosses a second level wall up here, which is just a no-no. This bastion gets in the way. This bastion's not quite able to cut it. It's a game of such tiny little fractions that a bump on the table could easily have changed that, right? These may not be absolutely straight. They may not be exactly what they're supposed to be. And this was a problem I remember having with Lille, at the very least. But maybe with the whole system was oh man, you're making these judgments on hairs and on differences of a hair. And honestly, when you pick up counters and damage them and whatnot, you're bumping stuff, and you're bumping it by at least a hair, you know? So like getting the angles right is almost impossible. On the bright side, the Prussians have only 2 guns left at this point they can fire. This thing's too far away, right? What is it? 750 is -3, -5 would be my firepower on that. That would get me to a 2. Huh. Well, I might be able to get shots in with those. They're not going to be able to get the enfilade power, but I think I might be close enough that I've added the readouts guns into the mix. Measurement, they actually were able to hit, and we've damaged these, killed off 3 more French battalions, which to some extent is one of our goals here. Is like, yeah, if we can kill the workers, that makes it almost impossible to take the wall or whatever. And so where I thought I was going to start cranking up numbers because I'm killing more of the guns, well, not so much. I get my countermine option. That's over here. Sometime during the construction turn, during the following turn, I can build a countermine during their repair phase. That's what we're up to now? Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that. On a roll of a 6, we destroy the French mine. Nope. Okay. Goody goody. And the mine may be our only way into the walls, because this is, you know, just not working. It's costing us manpower that we don't have. With that mine there, what is the situation? Whew. I mean, things are really getting open to a problem. I feel like I have to attack here, but I'm facing a couple of batteries up there. On the other hand, defending the walls is not at all safe because they get gunned down. So, I think we have to sortie again. This time we send the grenadiers in. I've got, I thought I had grenadiers. I had the grenadiers on top. No. Yeah, I meant to send 2 grenadiers in. I just had them in the wrong order, or had the wrong unit there. Okay, so I've got grenadiers coming in. That's 3 points against, 3 points, make it -1. 2 points against 2 times 2 is 4. It still gets us on the 1 to 2. If I could have gotten both of them in safely, that would have been cool, but I'm still on the shitty table. I get a 4. We each take a loss, and I've got a morale check, but only on the Prussians. So we did not succeed scaring the French out of that space. Bennington didn't come in, and it's time to roll the mine. This is a big deal because remember that 24-pounder is in range that it can blow a hole there once it's damaged. Okay, so I got 4 hits on that, and we just mark that, I guess, this way. And this is gone, because that was the mining task. Now it's time to start shooting the guns, and oh fuckies, I forgot to reset all these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guns. Definitely not gonna ignore that. So now we're down to 21 replacement guns. We're beginning to see the threat of an attrition here. I don't know, maybe around 40 shots or so, and cleared out all but the guns over here in the wing, and this guy I can't quite reach. Most of these are still hitting on 6s because I kind of screwed up. I was subtracting from the firepower and not from the die roll modifications before, and that may have allowed me a couple extra hits that I shouldn't have. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Oh, I haven't done the 3 mortars. I got 3 of them on the board now. No hits. Okay. I did take into account the point, and I believe the Prussians lost a unit on desertions. That leaves me the 24-pounder to start trying to knock this down. I took 1 shot at it because I needed to knock the gun out. Then I wanted to make sure I knocked the other guns out. And now I can concentrate on attempting to blow a big enough hole that I can send some troops through. If there had been any defending infantry here, they'd be wiped out at this point, because I've done 3 points of damage. I've gotten it under the 16 that is the requirement for assaulting it. Question comes, do I want to get it down further? If the damage was under 10, it can be connected to the fortification by building a field fortification. I think it's worth it. Although firing off more rounds of that 24-pounder may be somewhat counterproductive, because those are going to be really, really good at knocking out guns, if nothing else. I don't think I'm going to be able to get into another location on the wall, because I cannot assault the wall until it's down below 16. And unless I can get something like this gun gallery working, I'm not going to get that. And there's not a lot of advantage to multiple breaches in the wall. The morale effects are for taking a pink dot down to 0, and then for reaching the second line of defense at all, which probably want to hold our fire for that. So then the question becomes, can I defend this position? And that's a damn good question. If I can keep knocking the guns out, I think I can. So what do? I think we build our assault in and go for it, rather than try to blow that wall down, because units that are there drop it by 10 each round. Whereas I'm rolling for 6s to knock this down another 2 spaces. So I'd need 2 6s. That would be, maybe 12 rounds or so. I still got to blow a hole through the secondary wall as well. Yeah. I understand this. I can launch up to 4 stacking points to attack this. I'm only going to use 3 because I wanted to build, these galleries, a bunch of gun galleries out here, trying to get so that I can knock that gun out too. And we're able to launch from here. Here's the problem. We got to cover that last 250 meters or whatever. That's a roll on the 7 table. That's not a great table to go on. Kind of wish I had 4, but I really do want that gun, and I'm out of units otherwise, so we shall see. Now, stacking is an important question here, because if I could only stack 2 per group that was launching out, then each of those groups would have a chance of being completely wiped out by the fire. As it stands, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get 1 unit in. And it is indeed only 1 step that gets on top of that wall. That knocks this back somewhere. I don't know where. Figure that out in a minute. Well, it actually knocks it back here, because it has to go onto one of those. These become dead, which isn't good for them. And we have now taken the wall, but we haven't dropped it to 0 yet. We've got to spend a turn reducing the wall, and then another turn, and then it'll be destroyed the next turn. This is not optimal, but it's what it is. Especially, yeah, I kind of just don't have any troops that I can commit to do anything else. Kind of regretting having 6 steps there. I do have additional things here that I'll be able to use next turn, but yeah. The good part is there aren't a lot of guns, and the guns got to make a choice. Are they going to shoot at this, or are they going to, and there's still fortifications there, or are they going to shoot at, you know, entrenchments and whatnot? This is the more important thing, but yeah, I don't know. The problem for the Prussians is not only do I want to, is the question of whether I want to fire that gun at the wall, but also what kind of counterattack, whatever, do I want to deploy here? I can put up to 4 steps facing this thing, and that'll be impressive, right? I'll have column bonus of +1, attacking a damaged fortification, which will be -1, I guess. If the French lose a melee, no, this is the wrong thing. See, here they say the only time a formal stacking of 4 steps is allowed anywhere on the siege map. So it may just be that there's almost no chance of taking anything until you blow the wall completely down. I don't know. If the Prussians do not win the combat, only 1 unit can remain in the attacking position. Any additional, yeah, no, only 2 steps is how we're doing that. If the attacker has a +1 bonus for attacking column, but the defender can benefit from fortification, damaged wall gives it a -1. Yeah. So retaking the wall position, I guess, is necessary if I want to get the gun up there, but I'm not sure I really do, because that's just going to attract fire. On the other hand, I can't leave them there. And so I think what I have to do is I'm going to gather all 4 of my steps, and they're going to be on that pink line. We'll just leave them where they are for this, and try to push the French back off. I think things are bad for the French anyway. And then we have a shot from this, which I measured out, and does not make the 750 range, doesn't cut any second level walls. Doing this right? Yeah. So that's going to be a -4, which puts me on the 3 table, at -1, which means a 5 or a 6 hits. We got a successful hit. Again, I think I have to actually occupy that space. I'm not sure. No, I don't know if I actually do, because if it's not occupied, then the French don't get to destabilize the wall any further. So that's how I'm going to read that. I can leave this gun back here where it's a little bit safer from any 24-pounders trying to blast their way into that. If I can blast that down to 0 just with 24-pounders, now that's really expensive. Then I can build entrenchments to it. But then I may not be able to make it to that second wall. And so we've got some serious problems. I think I do want to advance. I'll tell you why. Because I want to be able to repair the wall. I can repair 1 point per turn. 9 more Prussian guns repaired. They're down to 12 repair points total. They're not going to last very long. But meanwhile, looks to me like the French aren't going to be able to take this wall very easily. Of course, I will want to shoot this space in order to try to do some damage to the infantry there as well as the wall. So that's not such a terrible thing. What about the not so big guns? They actually hurt that wall. Let's say I'm at, this is a 12-pounder here. I'm under 250. So there's no penalty? Nah, I think there's a -1. Let's see. Yeah, there'll be a -1 on that, which gets it down to a 5. At -1 on the wall means I won't be able to do any damage to the wall itself with that roll, but I would be able to pick off the dude. Of course, that doesn't actually help me. Oh boy. All right. And I think we're up to getting replacement points here. Oh, I didn't get to repair the wall yet because counterattack came before repair, before wall repairs. So yeah, that's still, it would have still been available to be assaulted anyway at 5 off, but yeah. All right. Okay, so we fired, I don't know how many shots, but we're down to 59 remaining 12-pounder shots, and we fired a couple of 24-pounders right against this. Why? There was an infantry unit there. I wanted to kill it, do some damage to the wall. Maybe something cool happens. I don't know. Anyhow, that cleared the 9 guns again. And it's time for me to decide what can dig and what can't, and whether or not it's worth trying to get up here. This gun would be able to fire at this position, it looks to me. Which means, first of all, I'd have to undergo the assault process again. And secondly, I would also have to, remain in place. And I'm not sure that that is a worthwhile thing to do. However, I can't, I'm allowed to build, if I get it down to what? Is it if I get it below 10 that I'm allowed to build into that space? Or is it only after it's been Okay, so under the assault rules, if a segment of wall is equal to the damage level of 10, the French can build siege works inside and occupy them in a single turn as described above, so long as no enemy. What does that mean? That's weird, right? I think if I can pound that down a little further, I can actually get my unit in there and it'll be okay by just digging my way there. I'm not sure. Again, the way the rules are written is not, if I just look at that line, that's what I would say, but other things have led me to think other things. Interpreting it that way, 9 more shots, I'm down to 31 24-pounder. Have gotten this to the point where I guess I can dig to get to it. It leaves me otherwise, I'm trying to find where it is. Yeah, so here they say opportunity fire. The assault is performed on column, but the damage opportunity fire is possible as the units will be in the open during the assault, which almost implies it must happen. Whereas this seems to say I could do this and occupy it in a single turn as long as no enemy occupies that position. And it's pretty easy to clear the enemy out of the position. You just fire some guns at it. Anyhow, we've expanded our works in both directions. There's not a lot of Prussian fire to come. I should actually be leaving this section out because the Prussian guns that have survived are all the way over there. Although the Prussians can move this gun over to here, thereby putting it in danger of being fired on, but it would get a shot even if I left this stuff empty. Why am I advancing in that direction? I'm not entirely sure. I think mainly to try to knock this gun out more than anything else. It was ineffective. I was even able to get this guy in. He could only shoot the damaged thing. Repaired all my guns. That gets me down to only 3 repair points left. Now, one thing I could have done is repaired less guns and thereby maybe reserve, repair a couple of important guns or whatever. But that doesn't really help me, right? Because so let's say I repaired, just 3 guns or something like that. And left myself a whole bunch of points so that I could repair them every other time. That just means that there's a lot less firepower and it's probably a lot closer to the guns that I want to destroy. What if I only repaired guns that were far away and then maybe moved one of the damaged guns? I'm not even sure I can move damaged guns, but if I moved a damaged gun further away from things so that I had an empty hole that I could slot a unit into, yeah, that might give me some fire that I wouldn't otherwise have, but yeah. I don't think that would it wouldn't help with the number problem. The number problem is that I'm going to run out of guns, and as long as the French can keep me to 0 guns that are able to fire at any decent distance, things are in a pretty nasty way for the Prussians. And now I've got another assault to undergo, which is to ram this grenadier up. This is not an assault. This is a attack on a location. There's only 1 French unit in that location. Not allowed to reinforce for this kind of counterattack. Got some cannons there, though. So I'm facing 2. Gotta look and see how that works again. Up to 2 battalions, 4 steps. Well, I only have 2 steps left. This is the only time formal. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have anything. Hitting a fortification now. That's full strength. So I've got 5 plus 1 is 6. No, sorry. It's plus 1 per unit. I guess. I don't know. The attacker has a plus. No, I guess it's just +1 total. So 5 goes to 6. Goes to 4 against 2. So I got a 2-to-1 attack this time, which is not so bad. We get a 3. We both take a step loss. The French have to take a morale check, but they just lost the position. Good or ill, that position is now defended by a Prussian and blasted down to 10 strength points. What that means is that when I fire, I'm going to take away, I'm going to kill that infantry up there, and then the next, I'm out of Prussians now. I can, recuperate a grenadier or whatever if I got one left. Yeah, I got a grenadier left. And keep bringing units in, but, it's coming to the point where there's nothing to defend the city. Yet the city will not fall. The city will not fall. You need nothing to defend it. This is different from Lille. Lille kind of feels this way in the sense of like having little dots that you move around for and whatnot. But once you get on the wall in Lille, you can start marching around the wall. And if there's nothing to defend anything, you're not gonna make it to the interior, or you're able to make it to the interior keep and just take it, if I recall correctly. Sevastopol works a little differently, maybe a little bit more like this. You have to blow your way through some redoubts in front in order to make it to the further in. Obtaining a successful assault on the wall doesn't get you the ability to just take whatever you want. However, undefended territory, I don't recall as being... Basically, I think the big problem here for the French, and for both sides really, is that there's no troops left. They wiped everything out over here on this operational map. Normally there would be troops and you'd have to make an assault further, and that assault further would require going out in the open. This one, it's not clear whether or not you have to go through the open. One part of a rule says you do, one part assumes not, and I'm just left scratching my head. Or at least that's the way I'm reading it. And so we did our counterattack. We'll get our troops back, and next turn is a complicated one. And there was some chance that Lan gets busted away or something. We get some bonus French troops too, that are going to come off the west, which I guess is not up there, because that looks east. But there was something that delays Lan, and it might be Bennigsen's forces moving. Obviously, it's not in the reinforcements section. I don't think it's in these rules. Right, yeah, so, and this was the last turn Bennigsen could have arrived. He didn't, so that's 2 points of morale that did not get hurt there. You know what? I forgot to fire my mortars. No luck on them. So yeah, we'll pause this video here and load it up. And now we get back to the really unpleasant operations over here. And I still have a fair amount of firepower left. a whole bunch of 12-pounders, more than enough to take out the guns, I think. There's only 3 gun replacements. And things are going to go really badly very shortly. And 30-something, 31, 24-pound shells. Is that enough to blast my way through? Probably. So it looks like we might be able to get the 4 morale points from that. Morale is currently at 7. The big issue here is whether or not Kamensky is able to get anything inside the walls. I'm assuming he will, but I don't know. There's not that much defending here. So, we had better turn those around. Let's see, they come in. Oh, they come in back here at the fort. I've got plenty of time to react to that. Okay. Yeah, and just the replacement points.